You hear the stories, the cold spots, the fleeting shadow, the bump in the night. But what if those aren't just spooky tales? What if they're pieces of a larger puzzle? Pieces connected by human experience, emotion, and memory. I'm Tiffany, a paranormal investigator and psychic medium. Here on Beyond Logic with Tiffany, we're stepping past the fear. We're not just hunting ghosts, we're seeking to humanize the paranormal, connect with the spirits, find compelling evidence, and finally connect the dots that link our world and the next. This is Beyond Logic with Tiffany. Hey everybody, I haven't done a solo podcast in a really long time. Aside from my bitch fest, if you did hear it before it got removed, because I took it away, not because of anything else. Anyways, so I've been privy to a lot of the drama in the paranormal world. Obviously, being a paranormal investigator, you hear a lot. Like, a lot. And I wasn't going to say anything just because I'm really not super knowledgeable about all of the drama that's going on right now, but I do know some of it, and I can put two and two together. Well, let's talk about investigation styles. I mean, we really haven't done that too much, aside from, like, what other people do, but I'm going to kind of go into my own styles and thoughts and everything else. And I'm driving, and it is really crappy because it is almost winter here in New York. So if you hear random noises, I apologize, but so I'm going to start off by saying every time I go, well, I shouldn't say every time, but a very large majority of the time, anytime I walk into a place, I introduce myself. Whether that be to other people that I've never met before, or the people, I mean, even the spirits that I've never met before, but if I'm with a group, I typically, like, if I don't know them, I'll introduce myself and I'll say, my little spiel before I get in the building about no attachments coming with me when I leave. I don't mean any harm, things like that. Now, when you think of a paranormal investigator, the first thing on your mind usually isn't skeptics. I feel like skeptics are completely 100% necessary in this field. And being a skeptic doesn't necessarily mean that you don't believe that the paranormal exists. It just means that you don't believe that everything is paranormal. I wouldn't classify myself as a skeptic. However, I will say that I debunk before I prove. And that's kind of where this episode is coming from, because there is a lot of backlash from somebody that constantly tries to debunk everybody and tries to basically put reasons to the evidence that others find, which, again, I think is completely 100% necessary, and I actually do it myself. I will debunk before I prove, like I mentioned earlier, which just means that if something happens and there can be a logical explanation for it right off the jump, I'm going to try to do that again to recreate whatever happened. I will give an example. I was recently with a group at Wildwood Sanitarium in Salamanca, New York, and there was a pendulum table thing. I can't really describe it. It's like, it was a pendulum, but it has like sand at the bottom of it. And I'm not by any means saying that this place isn't haunted or that there's not spirits there, because my goodness gracious, the energy there, whew. It was kind of off the wall, but at least for me. So anyway, going back to this pendulum thing, my first thought was to wiggle myself in front of it. Like, I'm not a overly large person, but I'm not like a toothpick either. So I started to rock back and forth, forward and sideways, to try to get the pendulum to move, because at one point or another, I had smoothed out the sand and the pendulum was moving. You could tell because there was marks in the sand. So, me being me, like I said, I tried to wiggle and shake and jump and whatever, and the thing didn't move. So my first thought was, okay, that's pretty cool. There's something, whether that be a logical reason or not, but there's something that's moving this pendulum that's unexplainable at this current time. I had another paranormal investigator with me, and he was able to move the floorboards by standing a little bit further out, which I didn't personally think of. I just thought, okay, close enough, you're walking back and forth. He took a couple steps out farther than I did, and he was able to get the floorboards to move. That, again, to me, does not mean that there's not energy, there's not, I'm going to do a double negative. There's not spirits there. But it just meant that that particular thing was debunked. It wasn't paranormal. It was just an old house that has some loose floorboards that ended up making that object move. Which again, that is what we do. That is literally why we do what we do. When I say that we debunk. That doesn't mean that I'm going to go out and I'm going to say, so-and-so's video is not right because they should have done this or they should have done that. There are still things out there that you can't explain. I have a video, I think I was live on Facebook, which I've put it somewhere. I think I put it on YouTube. But you can still find it on the Facebook page as well, where I was in this little separate room where they had a chimney. It was like a chimney room almost. I can't really describe it any other way. And you hear me stop talking just randomly. And I was like, man, I really hope there's people below me that are talking. And I think I even said that at one point on the video too, and explained why I just abruptly stopped talking. But the house was so old that like everything just, it carried through. It was just like there was no, I don't even want to say insulation because it's not like it was cold, but where I was in the house, like there was nothing really that was blocking anything. Like the sound carried right up where the chute was for the chimney. Again, I was able to debunk that. Does that mean that there's nothing there? No, that doesn't mean there's nothing there. And I don't know why there's such a stigma on people that do that. I would rather know that something's credible and real than not. I mean, I just don't get why there's so much drama. I thought everybody debunked everything, to be quite honest, until I started to really watch videos from a bunch of different things, not just paranormal teams, but like people that are like, oh my God, that was a ghost, and they caught it on camera somehow, and it's just like, no, probably not. Like there's just certain things that you can tell they're not paranormal. They're not something that goes bump in the night. And then there's other things that happen and it's just like, holy shit, like there's no possible way. Again, while we were in Wildwood, it's three stories tall. Like there's 3 different stories that you can be on different floors for. There was 7 of us, I want to say, including myself at Wildwood. And I had, matter of fact, I think we were all in the one room when I started doing the Estes or Estes, however you say it, that method. And while I was getting ready, I thought there was somebody on the 3rd floor. We were all on the 2nd floor. And I even asked everybody, I'm like, who is upstairs? And they were like, what are you talking about? I was like, somebody is upstairs. Somebody is moving up above me. Like, I can hear it on the floor and like from the ceiling. And everybody was like, we were all just here, like we weren't upstairs at all. And I said, well, you guys like coming up the stairs like a few seconds ago? Like, I tried everything in my power to try to debunk this. And I looked and I peeked out from like the little closet that I was in, and everybody was sitting there watching me. And they were like, nope, we were all on the second floor. Now that's something that no matter what I tried, and I trust these people. I mean, they're not going to lie to me. Why would they lie to me? I was like, well, somebody was just walking around upstairs. And that's something that I couldn't debunk. There was no animals. There was no anything. It was just somebody walking heavily across the floor. So that to me was I really wish I caught it on like camera or recorder or something, but I didn't. I hadn't started yet because I was just getting myself adjusted. I had just gotten into the closet. I was just putting my headphones like around my neck to get them plugged into everything else. So like there was just nothing. There was nothing. There was no proof. So that's only my word that I have, which is fine. But there's been other instances, like if you watch the Hinsdale videos or listen to, our episodes my episodes now, but the episodes that were posted prior to Beyond Logic with Tiffany, there's so much that happens at Hinsdale specifically that I just can't explain. I mean, we have heard EVPs that come out mumbled and grumbled, and it's like something's growling. We had people running around us at one point. Like there was a group of 5 of us there. All 5 of us saw these shadows running around. There's stuff like that you can't, you can debunk it, I guess. But when so many people are witnessing the exact same thing, and you know for a fact that there's nobody else around that could be messing with you or anything else, that's the kind of stuff that I'm looking for. That's the kind of stuff that the people that are like, oh, I'm going to debunk everything, that's what they're looking for, that undeniable evidence that there is something out there. Again, I don't call myself a skeptic. I believe full and whatever, through and through, that there is paranormal out there. I know that there's paranormal out there. I see paranormal. I've witnessed paranormal. I've experienced paranormal. And I've experienced way too many things that I can just definitively say that it's out there. Do I think that people make stuff up? Absolutely. Do I think it's as common as everybody? Oh, I shouldn't even say everybody. Do I think it's as common to have as much activity as they portray on TV? Absolutely not. That's another thing. When you go to a paranormal investigation in real life, you can sit there for 8, 9, 10 hours and not get a frickin' thing. But you can be there for 15 minutes sometimes. You can walk right through the door and it can be instantaneous. I mean, I've lived in some really haunted houses. I mean, I've seen things fly out of counters. I've seen things move on their own. I see spirits. I've seen spirits, well, in one house in particular that I have shared stories about, and it was just crazy. And then there's been other houses that there's nothing. Or there's that one-off scenario that it happens for. Paranormal is not a cut and dry field. It's exciting as hell. You can get a frickin' adrenaline rush when something happens. But then you can also just be bored out of your mind, and if you're alone, then you're just kind of alone. If you're with a group of people, then you end up shooting the shit and you have a great time either way. This is an expensive hobby, and to me, regardless of whether there's a bunch of activity or no activity, there's really not a wasted time by doing this stuff. And I think that's what really sets some of us apart from the others. And again, the community that I'm a part of is freaking amazing. Like, I love my community that I've built through my Facebook page that is now spilling over into YouTube and TikTok. We're a very wide range of people, and I've actually learned a lot from people, and not all of it's bad. I mean, we're supposed to be a community of helping each other and learning from each other and growing from each other. But this drama with the debunking crap, quit beating people down because they don't believe the same shit as you. I mean, I'm one for free will. You can do whatever you want. If you want to be that nasty, miserable person, go ahead. But I'm not. Like, if I don't agree with something, if I don't agree, usually I'll say, I respect your opinion, but, no, I don't really say but I do say, I respect your opinion, we're going to agree to disagree. And that's if I say anything at all. Because there's people out there that are going to try to beat you down, twist your words, and just make you miserable just because they're miserable. And it's not worth your time sometimes. Sometimes it's better off just to keep scrolling by, or to just be like, that sucked. I thought they were good people. I mean, you're going to have good and bad people no matter what you do. I just don't think that beating people down is the right way to go about it. You can have your own opinions. Shit, I say my own opinions on here all the time. But I'm not going to change anybody else's opinion, especially if that's what they believe. So if you don't like the debunking, then don't watch the shit. Or don't listen to it. If you are not the kind of person that wants to debunk anything, that's how you roll. You do you, boo. I'm going to continue to paranormal investigate the way that I investigate, and you're going to investigate the way that you investigate. I really don't see what the difference is and why everybody's so affected by what everybody else does in their life. And that's not just about paranormal. I mean, that's with just about anything. If it's not hurting you and it's not affecting you in any way aside from your own opinions being jeopardized, then just leave it alone. It's not worth it to get upset over stuff. Especially when it's just petty. I don't want to see this community fall apart over how somebody chooses to investigate or live their life or anything like that. And I'm not saying that that's happening to the people that I continuously associate with. I've found some really, really great people in this field that I've truly never even met in person. We only interact over Facebook or my podcast episodes. But you know what? Some of them are just phenomenal. Actually, not just some of them, a very vast majority of them. I can't talk. I have recently started, like I said, I met up with another paranormal investigator when I went to Wildwood. It was freaking awesome. And just interacting with him before I met him was awesome. I had him on my podcast before. And he's hopefully going to be back on again soon. But, I plan on, I shouldn't even say I plan on, because I do have plans to collaborate with other teams, and there's a few others that I'm really looking forward to meeting, and I cannot wait. And to me, that's what this is about, aside from, finding the evidence and exploring things that we can't explain. It's about meeting new people and making connections and networking and learning and exploring with other people and finding new places to explore. That's what it should be about. And even if I do end up collaborating with somebody and I don't agree with their paranormal investigation style, for one, I don't ever have to investigate with them again if I don't want to, because I have that free will. Or two, I can just go do my own thing. 9 out of 10 times, these buildings are big enough where you can go to one end or another and you can still just not hear each other, see each other, and you wouldn't even know what the other's doing anyways. But I really doubt that's going to happen because, one, that's not my personality, and two, I like people. As much as I don't like people, I like people. And there's a right way and a wrong way to disagree with people. And I think that we've lost that as a society. Not all of us, but so many of us. I shouldn't even say us. So many people have hidden behind a screen that they forget that people still have emotion, that people are still human. And regardless of whether you're hiding behind a screen and shooting your mouth off or whatever, people still get affected by that. It's easier to hide it behind a screen, but it doesn't make it right that you're doing it behind a screen either. I mean, communication can go a long way, and not communicating, or just keeping your fingers to yourself or your mouth shut, or however you want to say it, can go a long way too. I mean, I don't know. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk, I guess. Holy cow. But I love this field. I love what I do. And I mean, I had the opportunity at Wildwood to be a part of somebody's first ever paranormal investigation. And they were so intrigued by it, and they were so just giddy about the whole situation that they've actually started looking into their own paranormal equipment and their own way about going about things. And I've kept in contact with them, and I can't wait to investigate with them again if they choose to come out with me again, because just that makes me giddy. I love being able to show people why I love this stuff. I love teaching. I love getting people involved. I love meeting new people. It just makes me so happy, and it makes me so excited, and I don't know, I get that warm fuzzy feeling when it's when they tell me, oh my God, that was so much fun, and it makes me want to continue to do this. It makes me continue want to get people involved and show them the ropes and show them that there's no right or wrong way to investigate. I won't say that, actually. There is a wrong way to investigate, in my opinion. I don't provoke. I will use, what's the word I'm looking for? I guess trigger items, which to me is different than provoking. I'm not going to walk into a building and you will never ever hear me say, show me what you got, and push me or something like that. But I will use, like I said, trigger sentences, trigger words, trigger objects. When I went to Rolling Hills Asylum in East Bethany, there was a bunch of wheelchairs in the hallway. And one of the things that they tell you to do is, if you sit in the wheelchairs, to say, help, I need to go to my room. Well, I was sitting in a wheelchair and I got pushed, not in a malicious way at all. I was like, can you help me to my room? I forgot where my room is. I need to go back to my room. Stuff like that. I'm not antagonizing them and saying, show me what you got. I'm not, that stuff I don't believe in that stuff. That stuff is just wrong to me. But hey, if that's your mojo and you want to piss spirits off, okay, that's your style. But just know, if you ever take the opportunity, or you ever get the opportunity to investigate with me, that's not how I roll. I don't like antagonizing. I don't want to be antagonized in life. Why would I want to be antagonized in my afterlife? That's just how I feel. I mean, respect is supposed to go both ways. But anyways, going back to my point, there's different ways of investigating, and I will show you how I feel to do it. Other people may agree and other people may disagree. That's on you. I just ask that you respect, I guess, each other while doing whatever you're going to do. That's if you're investigating with me. But like I said, I like bringing new people into it, and I like showing them the ropes and, showing them how equipment operates. It's cool to me. It's neat to me. And there's different tips and tricks and trades, and there's a few other things that you can do that don't involve being negative or nasty to spirits. So, that's how I think about that. I really don't even know how long I've been talking, but it's been quite a little while now. At least a half an hour. I hope you enjoyed this episode. I hope, maybe you learned something. Maybe you didn't. I don't know. I just don't want the stigma that this field has a bunch of drama, because it doesn't. I stay out of most of it. Honest to goodness, I don't want it in my regular life. I certainly don't want it in my hobby. So, yeah. There's some big things coming for 2026. There's things in the works. There's collaborations coming. There's more podcasts coming. There's a lot coming. A lot of good coming. I mean, I took a lot of big leaps in the last month. Yeah, it's been nerve-wracking. It's been exciting. It's been frustrating at times with everything that's going on and everything that's changing or that has changed. But it's all for the better. I will say I have never been so excited for the things to come as I have been lately. I've also felt more alone in the last, especially the last month, oh my goodness, than I have in a very long time, since probably I was a teenager. But hopefully, well, not even hopefully, the outcome is so much better already than it has been by surrounding myself with people that are uplifting me rather than just pretending to like me and everything else. I mean, I'm not a very trusting person when it comes to letting people into my personal life. Believe it or not, you all don't know the half of it. But I've let a couple people in that I didn't really expect to let in or be let into theirs either, to be honest. And it's a pretty cool feeling. It's definitely something new to me, and this whole everything that I've got going on is completely different, completely new. It's scaring the shit out of me, but it's also exciting me too. And I really, really can't wait to share it with you guys. But as of right now, it's my really, really big secret. And I love that for me. And this is, God, it's been so amazing. Just everything has been so amazing. And my mindset is completely changed around, and things are just different now, in a good way, in a great way. And I have this community to really thank for that, honestly, and my listeners that have stuck with me through all of everything, really. I mean, there's been a lot of changes, and well, I said I stayed out of... Sorry. I say that I stay out of drama. There we go. Which I do, and I really hate having it in my own life, but there was some drama in my life, and I've completely separated myself from that, and I've learned a lot of hard lessons to learn. And some other lessons were a little bit shocking, to be honest, but they were needed. And I'm beginning to learn how to get excited again. And I know that sounds really shitty, kind of, because of the context. But that's not necessarily a bad thing. And feeling excited again has been amazing. And I'm especially excited. Oh my goodness, I literally just cannot wait for next year, which is only a little over a month away, but there's so many things going on, and just so many amazing things going on. I want to just scream it from the rooftops, but I'm not at that point yet. I've got just a couple more steps to go before everything will be just completely done and everything will fall into place. Couple more, not much more, but I literally cannot wait. But yeah, that's my all over the place episode, I guess, because I went from something really serious to catching up and then future endeavors, I guess. But man, there's one collaboration coming up in 2026 for certain that I am just like, I have been counting down from like forever ago. And it's getting closer and closer as time goes on. And again, I'm not trying to make time go by faster, because my God, does time fly as it is. But I'm so excited for this one. And that would hopefully is going to lead to more future things as collaborations. And from there, like, I've got just so many ideas. And there's a whole lot of destinations that I want to get to this year. I don't think I'm going to make it to all of them, if I'm being realistic, because there's just too many, but I'm definitely going to get to a couple this year, for sure. So I'm excited. I feel like 2026 is going to be my year. At least I'm hoping so. But anyways, that's all for now, I guess, now that I've completely rambled on about the most random things. Until next time, bye. As I wrap up my time with you today, I hope the ideas I've shared here on Beyond Logic with Tiffany have provided a fresh perspective, challenging you to think a little differently about the world. Before you go, I have a request. I'd love for you to share this episode with one friend, colleague, or family member who you think needs to hear this specific conversation. Spreading the word is the best way to help the Beyond Logic community grow. To stay connected with everything I do and get continuous content throughout the week, make sure you follow me on all my platforms. Facebook is where my community gathers. Join the conversation, share your thoughts on the episode, and get exclusive behind-the-scenes content and Q&As. If you're on YouTube, head over to my channel to watch the full video version of this podcast and check out extended interviews and deep dives. For short, impactful, and shareable clips, follow me on TikTok. You can find all 3 platforms easily by searching for Beyond Logic with Tiffany. Until next time, keep questioning the narrative, keep exploring the possibilities, and stay beyond logic.